What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Shout out to everybody for being here. With that being said, guys, we are now starting our $50 redraft league, guys. Shout out to everybody for being here, man. Shout out to Moogie, Davis, Jason, Maximus. Let me go ahead and tag Maximus so in case he's here. Samoan Thor, Cud. I'm drafting here at the 1-7, guys. Wally, Scar, JJ, Stook, and the Cheese, guys. Let me go ahead and tag JJ. Let me go ahead and tag Stook. Let's get this draft started, guys. We do have a special guest tonight with us as well. Blue is in the building. Blue's going to be co-hosting with us. Blue, you ready for this? I think he'll be ready when he's ready, guys. But we'll get this started. We'll get the show on the road. Blue,
Sorry,
you're
I
in
was on
here.
mute. Yeah, I was on mute. Sorry.
It's all good, my brother. Welcome, guys. Blue has done multiple drafts this year. I think you're in about, what, 20 or so drafts this year, right, Blue?
I've been in about 40 actually.
Oh, 40.
I think it's like kind of too many now. Like I don't know if I want to manage that many teams. Like how do you do it?
I mean, dude, I'm gonna be honest. We have a tool this year that we're making, and it's gonna be available for the people in our leagues. It's an auto lineup tool, so you can basically click on the auto lineup, and it'll auto line up your team based on what
Right.
people are projected the most. Of course, it's not
What's
always accurate with the projections, but then you can,
yeah.
mess around with that by yourself. But with that being said, man, yeah, Jason was in 200 leagues last year. Moogie was in 50. Davis was in like 300. So it's very doable, and people make a lot of money. It just depend. Fantasy football is one of the only sports where you can actually be profitable because you only need to win one league out of 8 leagues to get your money back. You know what I mean?
Plus, like it's based on knowledge, like other gambling.
That too.
It's
It's not, you're not
based
playing the house.
on
You're playing other
yeah, you're
people.
not playing the house, but
Exactly.
I've made money playing fantasy football for sure. So,
With that
but I
being
don't
said,
actually. Yeah.
my bad. I am drafting here at the 1-7, bro. I have JT, James Cook, and Amon-Ra. Who would you go with if you were in my position?
I would say JT or Manra basically.
Who would you like? Would you go with JT or Amon-Ra? Well, what would be your?
I I'd probably go JT.
I'll go and JT just for you, my brother. Um, Gibbs goes there at the 1-1. Bijan at the 1-2. Who's your 1-1 this year? Who's your 1-2 this year? And then tell me your 1-3 to the 1-5 as well.
Um, Gibbs definitely is my number one. I lived in Michigan my whole life. I faded Gibbs even though I love him because they had a brutal schedule. They lost Frank Ragnow and I love Gibbs, but I faded him last year. But this year they picked up two linemen and the schedule is way easier. So he's an obvious like I think he can put up video game numbers this year with that schedule. Um, so he's my obvious number one.
All right, I respect that. What about the wide receivers, man? Jamar Chase, Puka Nacua, and JSN there. How would you rank them?
I don't I don't rank them any differently than basically consensus. I say Chase, Puka, and JSN. Um, what's funny is McCaffrey. Last year I was all about McCaffrey. I
And he did
drafted him.
amazing. He did
I
amazing.
drafted him everywhere, and I drafted him as high as number 2 in best ball because
Yeah.
like he had an amazing schedule. This year's schedule is a lot tougher. He just came off of 450 touches. Like I can't draft him this year. And it was kind of the same thing with Saquon. I drafted Saquon every year 2 years ago. I couldn't really touch him last year, so I just I can't. Yeah, I literally haven't drafted CMC in one league in 1 out of 40 this year.
All right, bro. I am here at the 2-6. Who would you take in my position? We have Drake London, we have AJ Brown, we have Derrick Henry, Kyron Williams, Trey McBride.
I'm a London guy.
London guy. Ooh, I am not a London guy, unfortunately, bro. I'll be taking Derrick Henry, but tell me why you're a London guy because we don't know who's throwing London the ball. You know what I mean?
That is a concern for sure, but I feel like between the two quarterbacks, like if Tua is terrible, then they'll put in the next guy. I feel like one of those two will eventually be okay. And he's just showed he's had bad quarterbacks his entire career, and and he's just a premier talent. And I just, um, yeah, that's basically. I just feel like he's an elite talent, but I can understand the trepidation over London. I also feel like he's being undervalued, and I'm really into drafting players who get who had bad years because of injury. You know, I feel he's being undervalued. He's being penalized because of injury, just like Bowers. Bowers, he's being punished because he was in a terrible situation and he got hurt and he was playing with a bad PCL the whole season. And I love it when Bowers falls to me in the third round. I snap him for every time.
Yeah,
So
I'm not a fan of Bowers. I mean, his rookie year, yes, he was amazing, but he was also like a ninth round pick. I don't feel like Clint Kubiak is gonna be using tight ends. Like Clint Kubiak was a Seahawks OC last year. Not only did they not use tight ends as much, Mendoza did not pass to tight ends as much either. But I do think Kirk Cousins with Brock Bowers is gonna replicate what he did with Kyle Pitts a little bit because he was going a little crazy with Kyle Pitts.
yeah.
But depends on how long
Well,
Kirk Cousins is going to be that quarterback.
okay, the scary part is a rookie quarterback, but even though Mendoza's the number one pick, it is still a little scary with Mendoza, and you're kind of taking a little bit of leap of faith there. But Kubiak, I don't worry about. I mean, like KSN got a monstrous target share, like a historically high target share. Kubiak knows how to scheme things up for his best player, and well, and Bowers is basically a receiver that gets tight end eligibility. So I don't really. I think
That
Bowers
is
is
true.
a generation. Bowers is a generational talent.
I mean, in
The drive
college, he
has
was amazing, man. And people are treating Kenyon Sadiq like Brock
yeah,
Bowers, and people are not realizing Kenyon Sadiq was nowhere near type of level as Brock Bowers was in college. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And
right.
people are hyping up Kenyon Sadiq as well. I don't know if you've seen them, but man, Josh Allen goes there at the 3-8. Let's talk about the quarterbacks going here, right? We see some of these quarterbacks falling. What's your quarterback strategy? Do you like Josh Allen there at the 3-8?
I've drafted Josh Allen for the first time in your leagues because he'll follow me in the fourth round, and but I've never been an early quarterback guy. I've always been a late quarterback guy, especially in these leagues where you have two flexes. Like you got to get your wide receivers and your running backs, man, and you have two flexes. And I thought last year quarterback was quarterback and tight end going into the season. I was saying quarterback and tight end as deep as I can ever remember. I got May and Stafford. I've only played 3 leagues last year. Now I'm playing 40, but I got May, Stafford,
Hey,
and
you did
Dart.
well last
You know,
year, bro.
yeah, I had three. My winning percentage. Actually, none of my teams won the championship because I don't know. It was disappointing, but like I had an 80% winning percentage, which is pretty pretty phenomenal, I guess. But none of them won. None of them could complete the deal, unfortunately. But I just felt more and more quarterback is just so deep. Like you just like I get Allen. I feel like when you draft Allen, especially this year, like the difference between Allen and the next group of guys that you can get 5 rounds later or 4 rounds later, you get Jaden Daniels in
Yeah,
like seventh or eighth round. I mean, is Allen that big
I
of
agree,
a
brother. But I do have a question here. We are at the 4-6 here. Malik Neighbors is available. Lad McConkey, Zay Flowers is available. Who would you go with?
but I mean, I think that's obviously Zay Flowers.
What about Devontae Smith as well?
Oh, Devontae Smith there? Oh yeah.
Yes,
Well, that was good.
sir.
I didn't see
Devontae's there at
Devontae.
the
Yeah,
4-6. Yeah, I just didn't
yeah.
say that on purpose to
And
see
that's
who you like.
that's the interest. That's also the thing about like having these like sleeper. They don't update their rankings to reflect more recent ADPs. Like these these rankings that they have now came from like many months ago. Like Devonta's well on a third round pick, and Zay Flowers is a third round pick now.
I agree. I agree, man.
And you have to.
Some shockers for sure. Who would you, in your opinion, if it was between Zay Flowers, Egbuka, and Zay Flowers, Egbuka, and Lad McConkey, who would be your wide receiver one from there?
Um, I I'm really coming around on Zay. I wasn't earlier, but I'm really coming around on Zay. I feel like the way that with the new offensive coordinator, Declan Dillon, I feel like they're actually gonna give him more targets this year. They're actually gonna throw to him more. I think he's a great player. He just doesn't get the ball enough. So I'm really coming around on Zay. Um, Egbuka and McConkey are like I can see them being great. I can also see them not being great. I just feel like they're riskier. It's not clear to me that like they're gonna run a lot of um heavy personal sets in San Diego. That's what Mike McDaniel likes to do. It's not clear to me that he's gonna be in those sets. Not clear to me. And Trey Harris might take a leap, might have a
Yeah,
second year leap. Like Buka, I feel like if you're drafting Ibuka at his ADP, which is like, well, that's actually not bad where Jason got him, um, but his ADP is like in the third round, and I'm like, if you're drafting him there, you're basically betting that Godwin is going to be just bad, you know, which could happen, but I'm not sure. Like, I feel like one or the other is going to be great, but I'm just not sure which one. And that where he's going, they're just other bets that I like better, you know.
I don't blame you,
Um,
bro. But I do have a question for you. In the 5-7 here, I do have Malik Neighbors available, Terry McLaurin
yeah,
available, Mike Evans available. Who would you be taking here?
I mean, I think you have to take Neighbors.
Right? I mean, when have we seen him go in the
I mean,
5-7, right?
yeah, that's like yeah, yeah. You have to take Neighbors at that point. I mean,
Yeah, but I think
so,
maybe cut Warren is priority. Wow, okay.
I
Let
mean,
me one
I
second,
think
guys. Oh, he wants Montgomery. Let me give him Montgomery real quick. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take Malik Neighbors here at the
I mean that's
5-7.
like I mean like to be able to get Devonta Smith and Malik Neighbors after you went three running backs early, like that could eventually be like an amazing team right there. Um, I don't believe in going like these drafts go so running back early, like you like to go through running backs early. So I'm usually an early running back guy too, but just the way these drafts always go, I kind of had to go wide receiver heavy early because that's where the value is, you know.
Yeah, no, I like.
Um,
I personally like the middle round wide receivers this year than the running backs,
yeah,
but that's a personal
yeah.
preference for me. Now, I want you to rank these tight ends, right? Do you have Loveland after Bowers and Warren, or how would you rank your tight end rankings this year?
I have Bowers. Well, okay. I guess Bowers and Trey McBride are probably about maybe equal. I think Bowers is more talented, but I take only Bowers because he falls to the third round, where Trey McBride usually doesn't. You know, if I can get Bowers in the third, I feel like that's potentially a league winning pick. Where Trey McBride usually goes like in this draft, he goes in the second. So I don't get much Trey McBride, but I get a ton of Bowers. Loveland in a league where you have two flexes, I need I need to get those wide receivers. I love Loveland, but I think he's a little expensive. I need him to fall to fifth for me to consider him. And he did fall me to the 5-7 in one of these drafts, and so he was a no-brainer there. But I can't, it's I just I got to get my wide receivers running back early because I think there are a lot of great tight ends late. Like I know one tight end that you hate that I love is Dalton Kincaid. He is he had he had a 2.7 yards per route run, which is an historically high efficiency, only next to like Kittle and Gronk. Only they had more efficiencies, and his efficiency was third to only Puka and JSN last year. But he just wasn't running enough routes, you know.
Yeah.
And because he was hurt, he's been hurt since 2024. But he says right now he's the healthiest he has felt since he got hurt in 2024. He feels great right now. So like if he can he had a 38% snap count last year because he was hurt. If he gets it up to 70, 80%, I think he's a top 5 tight end that I get in the 10th, 12th round. So I can't reach for these tight ends early, you know. I'm kind of giving you all my secrets now.
Hey, I
but
love it. I love it, man. I
but
go. I like what you're saying there, for sure. Now, my question to you is, I did take Jadarian Price there at the 6-6. How do you feel
that's
about
good.
Price this year?
Um, I've taken him. Like I think you've got great value from there. Like I feel like he's falling a little bit because of the recent comments about how he's going to have to earn his carries. But I feel like he can earn his carries. I feel like there's early in the season. I don't think there's going to be that much to compete with. We'll see what happens for Charbonnet. I tend to not like players though that like are going to do well early on in the season. But when Charbonnet comes back, you know, is he going to do worse when it matters? You know, but at that price, I think you couldn't really pass him up. You do have 4 running backs though, but
I do.
like
How do
I
you feel
feel like
about that?
well, I know you go heavy running back, but I feel like okay, I didn't like these receivers. Maybe Lemon's a talent. Lemon is somebody. I think that was the best choice there. I didn't like those receivers. Maybe Lemon. I haven't drafted Lemon, but I'm coming around on him. He's just a really talented guy. I just don't like the situation. I don't like Hurts um, being Hurts' second option. But I'm coming around on him, and
Okay.
but I feel like yeah, you definitely need some wide receivers. But
Yeah, I'm
as a
definitely
whole,
gonna. I'm definitely gonna get some wide receivers here. Who do you like personally in my range? Cortland Sutton, Jacoby, Ricky Pearsall, Pierce, Godwin, Addison, Wandell Robinson. Who are you thinking? In the 7th round, like your favorite?
yeah, I tend to go upside. Sutton's kind of value play. Myers kind of value play, and Myers that whole Jacksonville wide receiver room is just hard to figure out who's going to be the guy. I guess I would go Alec Pierce to be honest, for upside, and then Sutton is like I've always been an upside guy. Sutton to me just I don't go for the older guys that are kind of on the downward of their career, but I could see him being a valuable being a value play, but I just yeah.
I don't blame him, and I had to go ahead with Alec Pierce at the 7-7. I think these values are amazing. I personally have not seen Neighbors fall to the 5-7. I haven't seen Price fall to the 6-6. Pierce in the middle of the 7 is kind of rare as
Yeah.
well. I do like that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. The last 4 rounds, you've got an amazing value, I'll say. Just amazing value. Let's see what the next guy that. Maybe you should draft the tight end that you hate that I love.
I don't know, man.
Another cat.
Dawson Knox is not a bad tight end either. That's what worries me as
Well,
well.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. He's a good tight end. But I really believe that even with DJ Moore, I really believe Dalton Kincaid is the best, most talented pass catcher there.
I don't blame
At
you
this
for that,
stage of
man.
DJ, at this stage of DJ Moore's career, and
All right, let's talk
um,
about some players, right? Tony Pollard has been falling to the 7-3, all right? But before we talk about Tony Pollard, let's talk about Devontae Adams, Terry McLaurin, DJ Moore, and Mike Evans. How would you rank those wide receivers 1 to 4?
which receivers that are left, or oh wait, what round? DJ Moore.
Devontae Adams in the 5th round. So Devontae Adams, Mike Evans, Terry McLaurin, and DJ Moore. So all the older wide receivers.
Um, I just like Devontae's scary, because he's older, but I just can't stop drafting him when he falls to the fifth.
Come
It's a little
on.
scary because of his age, but like I had him a ton of him last year, and because being from Michigan, I know what a kingmaker wide receiver Stafford is, and I just have to trust him. I feel like the word touchdowns are going to come down, but I do feel like they're going to have better chemistry on the other, like in between the 20s. It won't be just touchdowns this year, is what I feel like. Assuming he doesn't fall off the cliff, which is always a worry with. But I just feel like at the fifth round, it's a risk, but I guess it's worth it. DJ Moore, and I think he's on lost a step. And Josh Allen raise him. Um, it's like 2 years ago, you could blame it on Caleb Williams being a rookie. The offensive line was terrible. The whole offense was dysfunctional, so he had a bad year. But last year, he played more snaps than anybody. You know, you
Yeah.
can't put it on too many mouths to feed. Rome Odunze was out for 5 games early in the year. Like Burden and Loveland weren't playing that much. He had every opportunity to like put up numbers. He was on the field more than any. He played more snaps than any of those guys. Like you can't put it on too many mouths to feed. So I'm not really into DJ Moore. I could see Josh Allen raise him, but I also just don't. I tend to fade older guys uh, that look
Besides
like they're
Devontae.
going it.
Besides Devontae.
Yeah, yeah. Besides Devontae, just because I love Stafford so much, like because I'm from Michigan, and I just think like Stafford, I had him on 2 teams last year. I just I've drafted him like 4 of the 5 years after he went to the Rams because I knew like it was the Lions holding him back, not the not I always knew he had a like a Hall of Fame arm. Just he's just a statue in the pocket, and he was surrounded by like and he had terrible offensive lines. No pass protection in Detroit. So, but what we're talking about.
No, I agree with you. Stafford is still amazing in my opinion. Let's talk about Jonathan Brooks and Chuba Hubbard, my brother. All right, do you think Jonathan Brooks is gonna be taking over that backfield, or do you think Chuba
Oh,
Hubbard can, maintain that?
so I've drafted a ton of Jonathan Brooks. I I see it as a total gamble. At where he's going, he's the only guy I see that without an injury to the starter can potentially take over and become like an RB1 without an injury to the guy in front of him. All the other guys need an injury to do that, I feel like. But I could see this like totally backfiring too. So to me, it's at that ADP range, it's worth the risk. You know, it's worth it. What else are people drafting there like around there like
JCM,
like
Rashad White, um, you
yeah,
know,
like those guys are.
Blake Corum.
Eh. Okay, Corum, I'm actually high. I feel like that's going to be more of a 50-50 split. Closer to 50-50.
I think Corum there at the 9-8 is a phenomenal pick.
Yeah,
I would
I
I
do like
wouldn't
Corum.
Yeah, I wouldn't have
I do like.
mind going Corum there, but we do have some. We have two people going double tight end with Simone, Thor, and
Yeah,
Maximus. So I had to
yeah.
go ahead and get my guy with Travis Kelsey because I didn't think he was coming back. And look at that, Goddard goes there in the ninth round. So yeah, I did have to go ahead and take my guy. But with that being said, man, let's talk about some of the teams here, right? Let's just go over in my opinion, the seventh round. All right. What are some of your favorite picks in the seventh round, and what are some of your worst, like not as good picks?
Um, well, I felt that there are quite a few reaches. I really like the your Alec Pierce pick. I love Tyson there. Um, Quentin John. I really like Quentin Johnson, but that seems like a little early. I guess no. I guess it's not. He's like flying up. I was getting. I love Quentin Johnson, but I was getting him like a round or two later, and now his ADP is totally risen. I guess Fannin, good value there, but all the other picks seem like I guess Godwin's decent. I guess the wide receivers aren't too early. Um, Pollard's one. I don't know. I I'm not sure about Pollard. I guess like he's like the starter there, but I don't know. He's getting older. I, I'm not sure what to think about Pollard. Seventh round. I actually don't have too many big views, negatively or positively. I like the Tyson pick the most, I think, and I like the Pierce pick.
All right. I don't blame you for that, man. I do like Pollard. I usually don't never see him go in the seventh round, so I think that's a phenomenal spot for him. I do have T-Law and Patrick Mahomes available here. Who do you like more?
Oh, I noticed you draft a lot of Patrick Mahomes, but
I do.
I love Mahomes.
I agree. I'm gonna go ahead and take
I have a
Mahomes there.
my my belief on Mahomes is the problem uh, in recent years hasn't been Mahomes. It hasn't been the weapons. It's been the offensive line, And last year, when they drafted Josh Simmons in the first round, an offensive tackle, um, and 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 they picked up another guy in free agency. That offensive line played really well through the first half of the season, and Mahomes was QB1. And this is without Rashee Rice in 6 of those games, and this is with David Worthy hurt, playing hurt, and he was QB1. It wasn't about the weapons; it was really about the pass protection. Then the pass protection was horrible the last half of the season, and Mahomes' performance fell apart. But I do feel like they still have all that investment in that offensive line that didn't quite gel last year. But I think it can this year, and that and the injury too. He has to get healthy, but like I feel like that if that offensive line starts playing well, I think he's gonna have a great year, and he's just a super incredible value. Trevor Lawrence is like pretty nice too that you can get like it's crazy like the quarterbacks that you can get this late like it's just even when I drafted Josh Allen in the fourth round in a couple leagues, I kind of regret that a little bit. Just quarterbacks you can get late are just ridiculous. Especially in these leagues, quarterbacks always fall. But
Yeah, man. Yeah,
good.
I agree. I agree with the quarterback value. How do you feel about Matthew Golden this late?
I have a lot of shares of Matthew Golden. I'm not I'm not sure how good he is, but at this point, it's just yeah. At this point, it's a high upside pick. It's an ups. They're, they got rid of Wicks. They got rid of Dobbs. Um, you know, um, he's a first round pick. He appeared to be he appeared to mentally like not really know what he was doing, and hopefully, after been just figuring out what he's supposed to do mentally, he can make a leap. But at that point, the draft, like he's got incredible upside. Um, I'm not sure how it's going to work out, but another one that I draft a lot is Worthy, and I know everybody's down on him, but he played hurt the entire year. He got hurt on the third play of the year, and of course he looked terrible the rest of the year. But Andy Reid came out and said we were protecting him. We couldn't have him run routes over the middle. We couldn't have him do a whole lot of things because he was wearing shoulder harness and there was a high risk of Reed dislocation. So there was a whole bunch of stuff we couldn't do last year with him. And he basically said, this year we're opening up. He's added muscle. He's basically dominated practices so far, and basically every action that's coming out of KC, like they didn't draft a receiver high, they didn't pick up a receiver in free agency. Isn't all that isn't just about their faith in Rashee Rice? It's about their faith in Xavier Worthy. I'm not sure if he's going to break out, but Andy Reid certainly thinks so. I'm certain Andy Reid has full confidence in Xavier Worthy. I also think he has confidence in Tyquan Thornton too, and with an injury to one of the top two receivers, I would definitely like snap him up too. But and at that point of the draft, like Golden, why not? Yeah, if he stinks, like not gonna hurt me too much. But at that point of the draft, I think he has a lot of upside. I'm kind of giving you guys all my secrets.
I love it. Hey, that's why you're here, my brother. All right.
I,
We are gonna do team reviews, my friend. Are you ready?
uh, sure, but I want to be kind to people. I don't want to rip on people too.
Nah,
I guess
bro, you gotta be honest, all right? We're gonna go by the people that usually want them. We're gonna start off with Moogie's team here. Go ahead and take care. Go ahead and review his team.
Okay, Moogie. 22. All right. So I like Brees a lot. I realize Brees is a little bit of a gamble, but I feel like that offense is going to be a lot better. I feel like Smith is actually an upgrade over the quarterbacks they run out there in the past, and Frank Reich is an upgrade over like Nathaniel Hackett and Tanner Angstrom. So I think that offense actually might be decent. I like your receivers. I love that you got Dalton Kincaid. Oh, I like this team a hell of a lot. Yeah, I like this team a lot so far. I'm not a big fan of Rashad Rice, but that's kind of personal preference. I just never thought much of him as a player. I think Kenny Gainwell, who's taking Rashad White's old role, is way better than Rashad White. It is going to do really well there, and I have a lot of shares of Kenneth Gainwell. But the rest of this team, I'm not so sure about Parker Washington. I'm not even going to say that's a bad pick. I just have no idea what's going to happen in Jacksonville. But I would give this team like one of the best teams I've seen. I think you probably need more quarterbacks, but quarterbacks are cheap. Like you'll add somebody. Yeah, I think there's still good quarterbacks available, and I think this would be like 8.8 actually for me.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. I think his running backs are the only questionable part, but he does have some upside running backs later on with Rashad White and Jonathan Brooks.
Well, yeah, and that's me also loving Brooks. I love Brooks. I love Brees. I know you have a different view on Kincaid from Brooks,
Yeah.
but for me, and that's one of the reasons I want to come because I have offer like a totally different viewpoint from Sleepy here. So, and I'm not even saying I'm right, but it's good to have hear a totally different point of view. But we differ, I think, in a lot of players that we like better. So,
Yeah,
but
no, I agree though. But he does have a very solid team. His wide receivers are very, very nice. With that being said, let's go ahead and take care of. I think Jason wants a review. Um, go ahead and take care of his team. They're at the 1-3.
okay. Now how do I- Hold on. Technical difficulty. Why don't you start by reviewing it while I figure out? Why don't you review that one while I figure out my technical difficulty?
You're all good. I got you, my brother. All right, Jason. I think Jalen Hurts is going to be a great quarterback. Javante and DeAndre Swift are going to be great running backs for you. Jamar A.J. Brown, great wide receivers. Likely is going to be your only weakness on the tight end spot. And then you got Igbuka and Brian Thomas. I like Igbuka, but he's dealing with Chris Godwin, with Jalen McMillan, with Ted Hurts as well. Brian Thomas is also dealing with the same issues with Jacoby Myers, with Travis Hunter, with Parker Washington. So both of them are in kind of a wide receiver company that's not very too certain. So I don't love them for you on your flex spots. But man, Tony Pollard, Michael Pittman, Matthew Golden, Chig Okonkwo, you can't draft a better bench than that. I really do like this team. I think I'm gonna give this team personally a 7.8 just because of the flex room. But man, if Igbuka and Brian Thomas go back to their prime selves that we've seen them do, this could be a very, very deadly team. With that being said, guys, I am drafting here next. Let's go. Let me go ahead and see who I'm taking here. Oh, shoot. Let's see. I'll go ahead and take Debo here at the 13-7. I don't think I need another tight end or a quarterback, to be honest. But with that being said, are you back here with us?
Yeah, I'm back.
Perfect. Could you go ahead and review? I don't think. Could go ahead and review JJ's team there at the 110 if you can, please.
Okay. Let's see. So, I like, so HN, you probably could have gotten in the second round, but I actually think I really like him. I think this whole narrative about him, that offense going to be totally terrible is overblown. Um, I don't think that offense is going to be as bad as people say they think it is. I do think it's going to lose a little bit of uh, passing receptions because running quarterbacks tend to dump off a little bit, but not that much.
Come on!
I'm not in love with Chase Brown. I think that's also a little too early for him. Uh, I think the wide receivers are solid. Trevor's decent. I just feel like Daniels is good. Goder's. I just feel like the team lacks a little more upside. I feel like it's a solid team. I wouldn't call it a like a great team. I'll give it like a 6.8.
Okay, I don't blame you there, man. Shout out to you for rating his team. Thank you for being here. Um, Cut wants a review there at the 1-6. If you can go ahead and take care of his team.
Okay. 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 Well, you got Goff as a QB. I actually am high on Goff this year because I just like Gibbs, like they have a pretty nice schedule. But as a QB1, that's pretty scary. But there's still a QB. I don't know. There might be a QB left still. Running backs tend to go early, so it's kind of hard for me. Like Judkins is usually a fifth round. I do like Judkins a lot. I'm wondering if I do like Judkins a lot. Yeah, they go early. I guess that's Not a bad pick. They just go early in these leagues. I like JSN. I like Lave. McBride. DK Metcalf's interesting to me. I do feel like I'm torn on him. Like they say, like Aaron Rodgers doesn't like to throw deep, but that was with Arthur Smith. That's like the OC. Maybe they will chuck the ball downfield a lot more. I still think he's like athletically a number one wide receiver if they just um, a little bit better QB player or get a QB who throws deep a little more and maybe a lot of it just had to do with Arthur Smith is just the most conservative play caller. Sutton, kind of value pick to me. I tend to go upside. Poker, Juwan. Yeah, this team doesn't really do it for me, to be honest. I kind of have this as like a 6.0.
Yeah, I think he does need running back help. I think that's the only thing. I don't know why he went with Wandale Robinson, Josh Downs when he already has JSN,
Yeah,
Chris
a
Olave,
lot of those
DK, and Sutton.
a lot of those running backs or wide receivers don't. Yeah.
I not even gonna see the field on his
I don't
team
feel.
because he has so many
Yeah, I
wide
don't feel like
receivers.
they improve anything. They're an improvement over the guys he has. Harvey is like the big wild card.
I agree with
Maybe
that as well.
Harvey like totally improves his vision. I owned Harvey last year,
Oof.
it it didn't hurt me because like my teams made the playoffs anyways, and he came through in the playoffs. But like he was awful before the Dobbins injury because he has no vision.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you for
He has
sure on that.
he has no vision, but people can improve that sometimes. So that's the big wild card. Can he improve his vision? And if he can, he can take over that backfield. So um, anybody else?
I think that's pretty much it. To be honest, man, that's everybody. That's who wanted reviews. I don't review people that didn't want reviews. But for example, if you look at my team, I took a lot of wide receivers at the end because I have four running backs. So, for example, if Malik
Yeah.
Neighbors doesn't start and Alec Pierce doesn't start, at least I can rely on Jacoby and all the other wide receivers that I drafted. I hope
Well,
one
no,
of them
for
maybe
sure.
pans
Like
out. You know?
that was definitely with your early running backs. You had to go wide receivers for
Yeah, and tell
sure.
me before you leave, man. Tell me your quarterback ranking. So, after let's say Drake May, right? Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott. Talk to me about your quarterback rankings there.
Well, Burrow and Daniels are close. I like Herbert a lot, but not for Jaden Daniels. But as like in this draft, Hurts, I actually had him like in his breakout year in like what 22. Um, and I'll always have soft spot in my heart for Hurts, but I don't know. It's just I'm not sure how he lost AJ Brown. I don't know what's gonna happen. Sean Mannion is the big wild card in all of this. He's coming from like a sort of a Sean McVay coaching tree, which they've never had, and that may do wonders for Hurts and Saquon. Who knows? But talent-wise, on paper, I'm not excited about Hurts though. So, and Saquon, I don't know. I'm not sure, but it feels like he's starting to lose a step. And I generally, it's hard to say though, but it looked like he's starting to lose a step. I'm not sure how good that offense is going to be. It's all based on. I think everybody's saying Sean Mannion is this evil genius, and I could see them doing well, but there's a lot of other quarterbacks I like better, to be honest, around where he's going. One thing he's always going to have is he's like the goal line back for their team. So I just like that range of Mahomes, I just love that range of Mahomes, Dart, Herbert, Lawrence, you know, Daniels. Just Burrow will fall to me sometimes in these drafts in like the 8th round or something, you know. But Hertz is not one that I like that much. So,
I agree, man.
anyways,
Hurts scares me as well because of what happened last year. It just seems like he's digressing every year instead of elevating every year. You know what I mean? I feel like
yeah,
he's a product of his own team because he has such a good team behind, like surrounding him, and he's a product of that. If you put Jalen Hurts into, let's just say, Green Bay Packers with Jordan Love, like that would be two different scenarios where Jalen Hurts would
yeah,
not survive that. You know what I mean? So I
right.
totally agree with you on that. But with that being said, man, shout out to Moogie, Davis, Jason, Maximus, Simone, Thor, Cud, Wally, Scar, JJ, Stuke, and the Cheese for all drafting with us, man. Big shout out to Blue. I appreciate you for being here. I hope you had fun, man.
I did. It was a lot of fun.
Perfect. You're
Thanks,
always
guys.
welcome to do this. We always, it's always better when I have someone to conversate with. You know how it is when I stream by myself. Sometimes I talk repetitively and stuff like that. So it's always awesome to have
Right.
someone to talk with. So I do appreciate you, man. I hope you have a great rest of your night.
Yep, you too. Thanks, guys.
L-
Thanks.
Of course. Guys, I appreciate you guys for being here, and I hope you guys have a